The all-important human heart. The heart of a mammal pumps blood through the circulatory system. It provides the pressure that forces the blood through the arteries, the capillaries, and the veins. The pressure is generated by the squeezing of the walls of the heart against the incompressible fluid blood. Now, the heart walls can squeeze the blood because they are made of muscle, and the muscles contract rhythmically, as you can see right now. Now, the heart is divided into two sides, each of which acts as a pump. The right side of the heart pumps deoxygenated blood coming from the tissues out to the lungs. The left side pumps oxygenated blood coming from the lungs out to the tissues. A much greater pressure, about 5 times as much, is needed to force blood out to the extremities of the body that is needed to drive blood to the lungs. Now, because of this, the left side of the heart is much more muscular than the right side. Now, even though the two sides of the heart generate different pressures, they work in the very same way and have the same parts. Alright, so now let's get straight into the inner workings of the heart. There's the aorta, which is the main artery of the body, and it carries oxygenated blood out to the tissues. Blood pressure is at its very highest in the aorta, and the strongest pulse is felt right here. The pulmonary arteries carries deoxygenated blood to the lungs. The semilunar valves prevent blood running back into the ventricles when pressure falls during relaxation. The all-important vena cava is the main vein of the body. Its function is to return deoxygenated blood from the head and lower body to the right atrium. The right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from the vena cava. The pacemaker is actually found in the wall of the right atrium. Now, the three flaps, known as the tricuspid valve, prevent blood flowing back from ventricle to atrium during contractions. Tendons, which are tightened to make sure that the valve does not actually turn inside out when the ventricle walls contract. This right here is the chamber of the right ventricle. And here, as you can see, the wall of the right ventricle is much less muscular than the left ventricle, since it only needs to force blood along the pulmonary arteries to the lungs. Now, the septum is the wall that sits between the left and the right sides of the heart. This right here is the chamber of the left ventricle, as well as the wall of the left ventricle. The wall is thick and muscular, since it must force blood through the arteries to all the tissues of the body. Here we have the bicuspid valve. Now, when this valve is closed and the ventricle contracts, the blood must leave through the aorta. Then there's the left atrium. It receives oxygenated blood returning from the lungs. Atria have thin walls, since they need only to pump blood to the ventricles. The pulmonary vein returns oxygenated blood from the lungs. A vein from each lung join together before entering the left atrium.